And we're back with another episode of Franchise My Business, the podcast for franchisors, hosted by franchisors. I'm your host, Kevin Oldham, and we are going to talk about franchise rebranding. Why would you ever rebrand your franchise? Well, it's a good question. You might ask Subway, you might ask Pizza Hut, you might ask really pretty much any brand out there that has updated the look and feel of their brand. A brand is not your logo, not to get too philosophical. It's not your colors. It's my opinion, the promise that you make to consumers through your brand. What are you known for? What is that mental anchor that you hold in the consumer's mind? But a lot of people think that the outward appearance of brand is the logo, the colors, the topography, and all of those things. And being a marketing nerd and having sat in that seat and making those decisions, that's what we're going to talk about today when it relates to brand, is rebranding your franchise. When you have something that is already a going concern, you have a ton of franchisees out in the market who are flying the current version of your logo, and then you go change it. I'm going to speak firsthand as to what that looks like, because we went through a rebranding across over 600 franchise locations at my last company. We updated our logo, and it needed to be updated. It hadn't been updated since, I think, the 1990s or something. And for our, was it 90th anniversary? I think it was our 90th anniversary. We decided to, it was 2013. So it's actually, that company turns, it's their 100th anniversary this year. Maybe it was the 80th anniversary. Does not matter. But for one of those pivotal anniversaries, we updated our logo. Now, the thing that's important to think about with the business I'm getting ready to share with you is that we were in the real estate business. So more than like a Subway where the business owner, the franchisee, has 100% control over updating the logo categorically in all instances because they just have their store and their advertisements. In real estate, you give the logo to independent contractors who then go stick that logo in people's yards in terms of yard signs. And so when you decide that you're going to change the logo with an organization like that, it has a lot more complexity than if you're just going to change it for, a brand where all the control of changing the logo over at once or over a period of time resides in the business owner hands. So our use case was even more complex. Really, the thing that you want to watch for is backlash from your existing franchisees. Your franchisees, naturally are stakeholders in the business. And typically when you go through a rebranding, there's going to be costs incurred on their end. Even if it's just as simple as, hey, I've got to change my exterior sign. Last time I installed an exterior sign, it was a 5-figure investment. Those things are not cheap. So you have to be aware of what it means for your franchisees, not only psychologically for their business, things that are known that they've put the logo on, and maybe things that are unknown. So like maybe they've got a personal vehicle that they wrapped and they had a really great design done on it, and now they've got to have that thing rewrapped, and it's going to cost them $3,000 to $5,000 to peel off the old wrap, have it designed, printed, and put a new wrap on. So it's a complex type of scenario when you talk about updating the visual components of a brand, rebranding with a going concern. So you've got to have a really good reason for it. You've got to be able to, whoever is the chief marketing officer leading the charge and the CEO and the entire C-suite have to back and be enthusiastic around the rebranding and communicate the fact that in the aggregate and over time, the short-term pain associated with changing is worth way more than is way less expensive than the cost of, actually changing and updating the brand so that we look current to our customers. Because that's really what a brand, the visual representation is designed to do. It's designed to keep the customers engaged, show them that we have a new look, that we're a forward-moving type of organization. Okay. Now, sometimes the decision is to go through a process where you look at doing this, but ultimately the decision is to not pull the trigger. And that's something we did in our smoothie shop franchise. We went through an exercise. I think we had 3 different designers. We looked at, I think, well over probably 30 or 40 different logo designs. and then came back to, sticking with what we have. We did not see something that we felt was so powerful that we thought that it was worth the cost and the short-term pain of changing. We ultimately decided, hey, you know what? Our logo has some recognition. We like it. And, we kind of looked at the other side and realized the grass wasn't greener on the other side. And so we just flat out avoided that cost and that conversation and the short-term pain for our franchisees of updating our logo and rebranding. Another thing that I want to think about with rebranding is for businesses that have a physical place, it is the interior. So I'll use Subway as an example. We have a Subway in our neighborhood that had the old brand. Now it's got the new brand. I don't eat at Subway, but I walk by it, and it is very visually appealing inside. A rebrand from a franchise perspective doesn't just mean that it's sometimes restricted to just the logo. It can be the entire inside and maybe even the exterior of how a business looks. And we've seen this with McDonald's over the years. McDonald's has, quote unquote, rebranded over the years by creating more modern types of locations versus, locations I grew up with that were kind of had that wood or the shingle roofs and, kind of look like old school Pizza Huts. Now they're very almost kind of contemporary and generic feeling, but still very visually, aesthetically pleasing. And also the brand is known for, more automation. There's more technology involved in the ordering process as well as, not really in the serving up process yet, but that will come soon as well. Because I ate at a restaurant this weekend with my daughter and a little robot brought us our food, which was awesome. So those things are coming very soon. So if you're thinking about rebranding, engage your franchisees. Don't do it in a vacuum. If you have a franchise advisory council, really good to bring them in. Like, absolutely, they're the people that need to be weighing in on this. And then, if you happen to be the chief marketing officer, make sure that you are prepared to take a few arrows. You're prepared to stand your ground and also look at the higher good and the real reason as to why you're doing it. Sometimes it helps to back it up with research, particularly if you have a tagline and you want to see if that's resonating with people and things like that. Research projects can help that as well, and showing it, but backing it up by data can help you get buy-in from your franchisees. And the buy-in and the support are ultimately paramount. I know some franchises that have flat out changed names, and that's a big deal. One of them that I can think of is Embroid Me. Went from Embroid Me to Fully Promoted. And so there's an extreme version of quote unquote rebranding is a complete name change. Know this. Know that us franchisors, we don't just go through these exercises and make these changes on behalf of our franchisees just for the heck of it. We do it because, typically the brand is getting dated or there's something that we need to do. The exterior market conditions and the competition is leveled up and we need to meet that or exceed what they're doing. So know that typically these things are not done just for the heck of it. As a matter of fact, very few people like to go through them. It's kind of a painful exercise to rebrand, but ultimately it's something that is typically made at the C-suite level as a reason to pop through another iteration of the brand and bring it to market, most likely to stay relevant, increase market share, and help you be successful as a franchisee. So there you go. Until next time, I'm your host, Kevin Oldham. I hope you have a phenomenal week and be well.